Hi, I'm Chef Leo.
Hi, I'm Chef Theo, and this is The Confessions of a Private Chef. Hey, Chef, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's our third show this second season, and dude, it's been fun. So far, so good. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying myself.
I know, man. I've had some people, like, just out of the blue, you know, people that I've known in the past from here in Fredericksburg, and they're like, they'll approach me and they're like, dude, the podcast is like really cool, thank you. And I'm like, oh man, I
like locals.
Yeah, well, all locals.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
that's nice. Yeah, I run into people at HEB all the time, and they were like, I listen to the podcast. I go, when's the next one come out? And it's like, dude, I'm dragging ass because I mean, many reasons. You know, we stay busy. We're
chefs. You know.
Yeah. So it's like I should be on top of it. I know I should be, but it's just life, you know. And you get busy doing something else. Like, oh shit, I got to do that. And so, in on honesty, you know, it's like we should have released something 3 weeks ago, and so much shit happened, you know, with the weather being shitty. This is actually our second time around recording this badass gentleman. And what's funny is that, you know, the first time we recorded this episode, it just froze. Everything was frozen, and we came to the bar because we're recording here at 7624 The Bar on Main Street, 200 block. And the water pipes were frozen, and it was a Thursday, and they were supposed to be open, but we couldn't open. So finally the water starts thawing out, and we run it, and we leave it running during this whole episode. So we figured, oh, it's fine, I'll cover it up with music. I did that with Six Twist. So if you listen to Six Twist, I have music playing in the background. But if you,
it's very seamless.
Yeah, so it's one of those things that if I didn't have the music, it'd sound like somebody was pissing the entire time. It was like, shit, man, it's a long ass piss. But anyways, so that was one issue. So I said, I'll get to it, I'll fix it, because I did Six Twists that way. And then last week I started working on it so I can post it, because I was like, fuck, I need to get it up. I mean the podcast. And, and it was like, okay, I took out the hard drive from my case and dropped it, and it just like fell apart. It's like, oh fuck, dude. So I went to plug it in, and like all I heard is like, and it's like, shit,
oh, dude.
It's like, so it's
total
like,
bummer.
So it's like, dude, I know I have it somewhere, so I need to do this. And I call my buddy and say, hey bro, guess what? And it's like, I fucked up the hard drive. And then I called you, and it's like, can we do it again? It's like, yeah. So I mean, I'm kind of happy that we're doing it again, because first off, we get to spend more time with this guy at the bar. We get to drink, we get to, you know, shoot the bull, and you know, and it's a lot more livelier than water running in the background sounding like piss, and we're not freezing our asses off. No, I think it's great. You know, again, it's also, you know, it's a passion project for us, so you know, it's like one of those things where sometimes life gets in the way, but it doesn't mean that we're not passionate about it. However, you know, like, you know, life happens, and you know, but the good thing is that we can still kind of reconvene here, and luckily, you know, all of our guests that we have on, they're all really amazing people, and you know, it's great that we can call on him to come do it again, you know. Yeah, for sure. And he says yes, so it's like, yeah, badass. So this entire season, we the whole concept is like touching in with, you know, the people in the booze industry. You know, we call it the proof edition, because we're hitting like the bars, the bartenders, the winemakers, the distillers, and of course the tasting room managers. It's just everybody in that field. That way we can kind of you know, let the people see what that business is like. They come and they drink and they enjoy themselves, but I mean, sometimes you don't know what's all involved in something like that, you know?
Right. And one thing about Fredericksburg is it is a town of hospitality, you know, and with that comes, you know, the cocktails, the wine, the beer, you know, like...
Yeah, it's not just us cooking, man.
You know, I mean, it really, the driving factor here, a lot of times I hear people talk about, you know, if you're cooking for them, or, you know, you meet people, they're here for the wineries, they're here for the experience, they're here for the booze aspect of Fredericksburg.
And especially like the bachelorettes and everybody throwing their parties. So
it makes sense to, you know, have the podcast this season be about the people who are producing those things, who are creating, who are in that industry.
Right. And especially holding it in a place like 7624 just makes it even that much sweeter.
And we're just so lucky that that you have such deep-rooted ties here, Chef, that we get to be in this amazing spot once a week, or whenever we get to record the podcast here. It just feels like a home away from home.
Yeah, and drink some badass cocktails while we're here.
For sure.
So this next guest we have, I've known him for a few years now, and I met him at, I believe, the Lavender Festival. We're doing at Becker Vineyards like 2 years ago, maybe it was 2 years 2 years ago, and it was so cool because when you walk into a winery, you can be very intimidated really quick, so all the wine, a lot of people are like a little bit more stuck up when it comes to it. They think some people make you feel like they're they're the shit, when really
like pinky up kind of thing.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So the difference was and it was and everyone I think they have their own person at different wineries that make you feel a lot more welcome, and this was the guy that to me was like, wow, this is, I just want to drink with him. I want to hang out. I want to chill. I want to make him my friend, which now, thank God, he is. And so it's like, but very knowledgeable, and it's like a people person. It's one of those guys that it's like, you go for the wine, but then you go back for the person wherever you go.
Oh, for
and
sure.
if he's not there, then it's like, okay, where is he?
For sure.
And that's what what the hospitality is, and what it should be. It's all about the people, and the product is you have to have a great product, but if that ambiance and the people aren't great, then it's like, it doesn't matter how good the product is.
Then it falls short.
Yeah, for sure, brother.
100%,
for sure.
100%. So without further ado, for the second time, but for the listeners the first, tell us your name and kind of a little bit about your story, and don't be shy to go all the way back from the beginning.
Yeah, diapers and all this shit, dude.
It was a cold Sunday. So my name is Tyler Long. I've been in the wine industry, if you will, for going on almost 8 years, which is also the same amount of time I'm almost married to my wife. So a lot of the stories that I have is because of her. Especially she's a local, her family roots go in for a long time. Yeah. And she's a sommelier, which when we first met, I had no idea what that went. So, it was really about just learning relationships with her. And then from there, we ended up just hitting it off pretty quick. Of course, I didn't grow up around wine. I didn't grow up around this industry or anything like that. Yeah. And Fredericksburg is totally a service-oriented industry. Yeah. My background is medical management, actually, out of Houston. I did that for 13 years in the Durham medical equipment community. So I was in charge of 30 different people, 3 different different types of sections within work and management and stuff. And so I come from that corporate world for a quick moment, part of my life, and then ended up actually meeting my wife. It was on Match. We were, one of those things. It was great, but actually her grandmother, her Nona, was like 90 years old. When we met, and so it was really her dream to meet the guy right before she passed away. Damn. Now, I did not know until after I was already hooked, where she paid for the subscription. What? And then also her mom and her would have like a bottle of wine and then just go through and swipe, right?
So the mom or the
both of them did this. I did not know this till after. It was like I was already hooked. It was too late.
So you swipe left or you swipe right?
I don't know. They swiped the right way, in my opinion.
Back in Match.com, I don't think there was any kind of there was
maybe it was a check and an X.
That's interesting because I just saw a statistic of people who now meet online. It was like this broad statistic of through like time periods. How people used to meet, like, through friends, through family, through, work or whatever. Church, and then now, like, they show the graph and it's just, like, all funneling towards, like, the internet. You know what I mean? Like, to online, to where now it's, like, it's damn near almost 80%.
I mean, it's to the where, so I met when we were 33, right? And so she was a little younger, not much. But, it was where in Fredericksburg everybody knows everybody in the small town.
Yeah.
This is the quintessential small town.
It really is.
I'm coming from Houston to where, instead of meeting at HEB, you're like, how's it going?
Yeah.
What's going on? I saw you once, and then you do the same thing in Houston. It's like, why are you talking to me? What? I owe you money? I mean, it's like, what are you doing with my business? So it's a totally different mentality.
Totally, man.
And to do that, I mean, back in that time where, the regular circle of friends and whatever, and so I also was moved to Austin and more Kyle at the time, so I didn't really know much anybody. But I mean, as fate would have it, if you will, we first met at a bar, which was actually in Johnson City.
Oh, nice.
It was the Pecan Grove at the time.
Yeah.
And brewery, yep. Yeah. And that was, she had a flight of beer, and the rest is history in front of her. So, but no, we started out just quickly became, friends and fell in love and got married within like 6 months. But we were both intentional, right?
Yeah.
You know that purpose, and you have that drive, or just, from the day one, this is how we are, and if it's going to work out, it's not, and so that's, I think, really important from both of us to have that mentality, which carries over a lot of different things. To be intentional who you're hanging around with, be intentional about your relationships, and also as you are in this industry, upon that is your name.
Totally, man.
And
especially in a small town.
Oh my goodness, it is. So when we got married, we ended up. I went to HEB. We've talked about HEB before, and this guy, and I kid you not, as soon as probably after we got back from the honeymoon, there's a gentleman, a couple other people came up and just shook my hand and said congratulations, and I'm like, and who are you? But I know you through such and such. But I've just now been in this town long enough to where I go somewhere, people, they recognize me for me instead of oh, you're Jess's husband. So this is great. But so once we started dating, and I always wanted to transition to being up here in the medical industry, in this to live. It's beautiful. Everybody wants to be up here, but either you are in the service industry, or you're a teacher, or you're in healthcare. We already did one of the three, and I didn't want to go back. I was in healthcare, and on the weekend I started to actually pour wine because I was kind of bored just doing nothing on the weekend, and my wife was like, maybe you'd like to pour wine at Becker. I said, sure, but I don't know anything about wine. I know there's red, and there's rosé, and there's white, and there's sweet, and all that goes with it, so I had no idea. But of course, at that time too, we're talking about late 2016, 2017. And so just the shift of Fredericksburg in the wine industry has changed so much even since then. So, just since 2020, we're talking about over 25 to almost 30 wineries in the last maybe 4.5 years.
And more coming from what I understand.
Yeah, absolutely. We have... So Fredericksburg, people for Texas wine, but I see in the last year or so, we've had California staples come and opened up a tasting room here, which is, to me, it's a good sign of where we are.
Totally.
And that's as far as we're growing. One of my wine club members currently where I work at, they live in Blanco, and so they have a French winery from Canada.
No shit.
Yep, about 30 acres, and they're just, the website's all in French, so they have no idea what's going on.
Where do they live at?
They're in Blanco.
Oh shit.
So Blanco is the next place that's really exploding. I mean, around there, people want to try to be in the
yeah, I saw this. I saw another thing where they were building a bunch of homes in Blanco.
Yeah,
the big development there for people that are moving. I guess. But also, I think the California one you're talking about is probably Halter.
It is, yeah, Halter Ranch.
You can't miss it.
You cannot. Literally, it says Halter Ranch and the size.
Yeah, it's like Hollywood.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're from Paso Robles, which is great, but I think a lot of people have that. And that guy, great wine. I haven't been there. My mother-in-law, they've been there, and she's been in this for almost 20 years or more than that in this area of Fredericksburg. But it's just to mention them because they didn't have to come here, but they did, and
they were doing fine.
Yeah, they're doing great. So there's something for everything. There's Italian wines here from Italy. There's all those different styles, not just Texas, but predominantly is going to be
sparkling champagne.
Absolutely. So they're coming and changing. 6 Fifths was on, and that's a beautiful property and beautiful place, and
great people.
They know what they're doing as well.
Yeah.
So when we started part-time, in 2016, 2017, so they had a thing called the trial by fire. So as people know, in the service industry, everybody needs they're like, yes, you're hired, come in.
Yeah.
If you're willing to learn.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how old you are. You could be retired CEO from Merrill Lynch or whatever, and you bought a $2 million house. You want something to do, like, sure. You might have to do toilets, but that's part of it.
You do. That's one thing they don't tell you about it before. They're like, oh yeah, come in and just be willing to just work, but then you don't realize when you're in the industry, it's like you do everything.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Clean up some vomit. Fuck.
Oh my god.
Dude.
It's like I feel like you're not truly in the industry unless somebody actually throws up on you. But I'm like, as crazy and vile that is, I'm like, okay, now nothing surprises me, and then
totally
that surprised me, but I'm not shocked anymore.
I expected it. Right?
Exactly right. What people do. I mean, and that's like
so trial by fire. Trial
by fire, absolutely. And so during that time, again, there was 20 less wineries that we talked about before. So there was about 700 people to 1,000 people on a Saturday because of how the tour companies was. And we're talking about Becker Vineyards, which helped put really Texas wine on the map. For what Robert Mondavi did for California is what the Becker family did for Texas wines. I mean, they really did that. They pioneered that. And the gentleman who I work for now and his wife, they own a winery, Brett and Chris Pernew, they was there for 17 years. And his wife was there for 20 years. So honored to work with them, but so going back to the trial by fire, where if anybody knows and they're busy, they're just like, either you are okay with not knowing the hectic, the craziness. If you want structure, the first very time you got to be fluid, and some people they get in and then just walk right out. So, and I understood that, but at the time we had over 32 different wines on the menu.
Damn.
So as anybody knows, that's not including what they had in distribution. And so it was only there, and there was 11 different reds. There was 10 different whites. You have rosés, you have sweets, dessert style wines, you have ports, things like that. And so people come up to you, a group of 10, and they're like, "Hey, I want some wine." You're like, "Okay, great. Which red do you want?" I can't even pronounce Tempranillo at the time, right?
Tempranillo.
Tempranillo. That's right. Or Viognier.
Vingard.
The Vingard. The Wagner. Yeah, okay.
Sure.
Yeah, right. Yes, you roll your eyes. You're like, yeah, I haven't heard that one before, right? So, and I quickly understood I needed to learn pretty quick, and I just learned on the job training, which I think the service industry is.
Yes.
You start off with, I need a job now, figuring out you're not going to stay in it or not going to make a career per se, like I didn't. I had no idea. And so for me, what really kind of helped calm the craziness was actually taking all the reds. You have a light body red, you have a medium body red, you have full body red. I use this to this day, especially with what I love is people that are new to the industry. And I think that's the thing we're coming on. I mean, there are so many, especially in Fredericksburg. We have bachelorettes and love them or hate them. It's an awesome opportunity to showcase,
what we are
and everything. And they need to know. And so I'm not, pretentious whatsoever. That's not my stick. It's not who I am.
No, you're very approachable.
Thank you. Don't take myself seriously, which I think is about just enjoying life. You never know who we all put our shoes on, one left, 2 feet, right? So when I first met, there's Mr. Dean. God bless his soul. He's no longer with us. Him and his wife, they were retired, but that's what they did. They were retirement gigs, and he made his own chili mix. So went around Texas and selling chili when it was chili time, and Terlingua and all that stuff. So he was he's my go-to guy in the pit, right? You know, you put all the new kids in the pit, you put all the new people in the worst spot to see how they do, right?
Shit, dude.
You know, when you're in a big industry or winery per se or whatever, they try not to do that, but you know, that's why it's called the trial by fire. See, right? So,
you make it around,
and it's like 8 hours. They say, okay, just wear comfortable shoes. Yeah. You know, people that come in with all nice shoes, like, you're not gonna last. You know, one of those things. So
that's the letters. No boots.
No boots, right? It's gotta be comfy, right?
Yeah.
So we ended up quickly. He set me aside. He said, okay, this is light body, this is medium body. Took a pen and then categorized those 3 things. And he goes, have you ever had milk before? I'm like, yeah, I have milk. He said, just wait for a moment. And he goes, okay, so there is skim milk. You have 2%, you know, and then there's whole milk, and then there's also, you go to half and half, and there's like
heavy whipping
cream and buttermilk, like making fried chicken. After that, so because everybody can equate, so we're talking about these buzzwords like viscosity and thickness of the liquid and tannins and all that stuff. And a lot of people even today, you know, once you start talking about describing the wine, because that's what you do in the wine industry, to try to describe what it tastes like and things like that. But really, they get the deer in the headlight look, like, okay. And I just stopped. I said, we're all in this together, especially in bigger groups. I love doing this. I go, this is a safe place for the corporate group. These could be CEOs of oil industry, and you know, we had the Valera Open recently, right? And it was like, I had them outside, and I did this. I said, okay, who knows by the show of hands what light body is? And so and then like half of them did. I said medium body, and then they said, okay, so we're gonna go over that real quick. And they start ragging on each other as an icebreaker, so it was just one of those things. But again, I go for the example, the 2%. It is going to be a little see-through. Of course, on the palate, it's going to be not a lot of flavor. It's very light, right? It coats the mouth as far as the viscosity. And then you go to, you know, you have skim milk 2%, a little darker, a little more flavor. A little more, coats your mouth a little bit more, and then whole milk, you can't see through it at all. It's going to coat your mouth, a lot of flavor. Of course, half and half, a little bit goes a long way. We put it in our coffee, and it's
so people could understand you a lot
exactly
better, right?
I take it from exactly right. People
dumb it down, and it's like,
I am you know. It's like,
well, and it's a good like jumping point, because everybody's like has had those things before, so they understand. It's a good way to like mentally understand like a foundation of what you're getting ready to go through.
Unless you go through 30 wines, which by the end of the day you're not going to remember the texture, all that stuff, and you're exactly right. And so I just give it to where I can understand it and convey it, and if they already know, if not, and But my goal is, especially whenever they come see me, at the end of the day, I want them to be able to say, you know what, I like this white, or it's fermented in the stainless steel fermentation instead of French and American oak. Okay, well, I like it this way. Or I don't like Chardonnay, or I don't like this, but I like yours, or your Roussanne. Why is that? So that's the structure, how it's made, and just so they can take that opportunity and just go. And so, and then we kind of go to really the half and half is like dessert style wines, because it's going to take a little bit to make a big difference. Right. And so once we kind of go through that, the light bulb goes off, and then they fun after that. They're like, oh, I'll take some whole milk wine, please. We're joking around, but they all understand it as you're looking at the color, the texture, and all that stuff. So
that's cool, man. So I mean, that's something that no one that I've gone or I've met at a wine tasting has, ever, I guess, had the balls to put it.
Just in simple terms.
Because some people are just, it's intimidating. It's intimidating.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure if you go to Halter Ranch, they're not going to use that terminology. Coming from California, you have the standard. But who knows? Who knows? I could be wrong. I'll get them to come on so they can maybe they'll
explain their point.
Maybe they'll compare it to women or something. I don't know. It's like, who knows? It's like French.
That's right.
I don't know.
Anyways, so you have this persona, and let me dive into this a little bit. Mm-hmm. You're known as the Wine Viking,
right? Right.
I mean, you just look at him, bro.
How? Okay, I understand, but for the people that aren't, they don't know you and they're just listening. like, how do you gain this persona, and like, what is the bridge between, you know, like creating this persona and then like, you know, like how did that happen?
It's a great question. It was I think the best personas are given and never just, you know, I'm this, you know.
Yeah.
And so at the time, of course, I still have a beard. My wife, and it's true, I spend more money on beard products and more time on my beard than she does with her hair and makeup.
Dude, a lot of people don't realize a man's beard is a lot of.
Dude,
if you want it to be good,
Dude,
we were just talking about that.
Yeah, when he came up to the bar, I was outside smoking, and I was like, "Who the fuck is this?"
I shaved my beard.
Yeah, he shaved it and turned back. So weird, man, to see him. I saw a meme today, dude. Today of some guy that shaved his beard and he looked like a fucking worm. He had no fucking chin. It was crazy, dude. It was like, dude.
It's totally like.
No, I'm not saying that you do, man. You look great.
Well, that's okay.
But it's like some people have to have that beard, you know.
Yeah.
You pulled it off without it. You did good.
Yeah,
Took me a minute though. Took me a minute. I know, but this guy had it for a while.
I mean, yeah, I've had it. Yeah,
you've trimmed it, dude.
I did. It used to be
double
about 4 inches or more, like
lower.
Right down to here.
Yeah.
From somebody who grows a beard, you're a master at upkeep.
Thank you. So my product. So I have a beard conditioner, a beard wash, day oil, night oil, beard butter, beard balm, and then also have a straightener. Yeah. Oh, and with the straightener, I do have.
The fuck.
I use the Texas. It's called the Beard Struggle TBS. So these guys are Vikings. And like it's they're from Canada, but everything is from Norris, and you just go on there.
That's cool.
And also, what is it called? Oh, the beard spray. So it helps the oils before you straighten it. It actually will relax and everything. So that I've been doing that as well. But when I had at Becker having hundreds of people coming in, and I did tastings and everything, and I had my hair like. You know,
it's pretty long.
Now it is, yes. Now it is pretty long. You know, maybe could do it in the braid. We'll see. But before, it kind of looked like one of the Vikings at the Viking show, which was kind of like Ragnar or things like that. It was just one of those, and I would have it braided down my back and stuff a little bit.
That's cool.
So that was a moniker to where. So the guy that looks like the Viking, and so my employees would give it to me, and then my wife started it. Said, "Yeah, my husband, he's the guy who looks like the Viking, and also he's wine Vikings. Talk about wine, and then, it's very unassuming, right? You hear the don't judge a book by its cover, and so I'm this big burly guy with a Viking look and start talking about wine, and it throws people for a loop a little bit, which I like, of course. And you're like,
dude, if you got on Instagram or TikTok and just did wine Viking content, people would eat it up, man.
Oh, shit.
Like you just need to just take the persona completely.
Get a fucking helmet with a fucking horns.
Right.
And the next thing you know, like you're gonna be getting checks from Instagram and all this shit.
Maybe I will. I mean, I have a good friend, of course, Leo, who talked to me about doing some stuff like that because of that, and so I'm like,
nobody listens to Leo, bro. No one listens to Leo.
Or their wives either. I'm not trying to say you're like my wife or anything, but I still love you, man.
Oh, man,
but that's type of. No, I appreciate that. I'm not.
I mean, I'd watch the content.
Well, thank you. Well,
me too. I promote it.
You got one follower.
Hey, sweet. Maybe you'll have to do that.
Yeah. Next week.
Right next week. Well, we'll do a collab.
Give us a year.
There we go, right. Right. So that's kind of where the persona came. And then we have with lots of tour companies that would come in. Part of the industry is your relationship with people. I mean, this is, as far as the hospitality, obviously, it is a relationship business.
Yeah.
Word of mouth is so important.
It's number one, man. Number one.
Absolutely. I mean, you can market, which is great. All that's out there. But people are like, so I want to know what the locals do, whatever you do. And so most people, if you haven't been to Fredericksburg, it's phenomenal. But also we have vineyards within 2 minutes of each other. And you can literally go to 5, I don't recommend it, but maybe 3's max, within 4 or 5 miles of each other, less than that. And so we're one of the tour company drivers, and he was the one that would be like, oh, you're going to come up and see the Wine Viking. And it just kind of spread from there. I would go anywhere else. I'd always known as the Wine Viking. So, but I never kind of present myself as that. It was more just one of those type of things. But I appreciate it. And it's fun. It's a badge of honor for me, honestly.
Oh, totally,
I
man.
love it, so.
You've earned it.
Vikings are badass.
They are.
Yeah.
And wine. I mean, like
Right.
how that's a match made in heaven
That's
right
right.
there. You know, nobody else is
Yeah.
doing it. So,
Why not?
so that happened when you were at Becker.
It did, yeah.
Cool. So kind of what I'm getting from your story is like you kind of went in really green, and then like you just embraced the culture.
Yes.
You learned, and you found a way to make it very palatable, and as far as like terminology and way for people to understand.
Right.
And then, you know, because of that, you were given this persona. And then, so you were at Becker, and how long were you at Becker?
So I started in 2016, part-time, didn't know anything for about 3 years. I moved to the wine club, and then in the beginning of 2019-2020, I was given the opportunity to be the Main Street manager at Becker Vineyards.
Oh, wow.
And that was a great honor. I had managerial background, and also to be something with a testament of running that store, which is a great facility. And then COVID happened, so we so everybody, as in the industry knows, it was, you got to do something else.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no people, yeah.
COVID is a marker point for all of the industry.
Right.
I mean, I think people will always look back to that time and be like, this was the either made you or broke you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people found who they were and lots of other things during that time. You get in a rat race of life, right? And all of a sudden when life, not just you, but everybody stopped for months at a time. And then, so a new GM was hired at Becker Vineyards when Brett and Chris left. That was end of 2019, 2020.
Yeah.
Started Airis'Ele Vineyards is where I work at currently. And he came in from California and wanted to, and I had some other people who's going through, you know, what do you think? And then shake up some stuff and meeting, and my name came up to be the tasting room manager over there for a good year and a half. So, and I brought them out of it went from about 55 full-time people down to 5.
Oh shit!
Because it was just full-time, because people couldn't come in on the weekends. That's how many people we had coming and servers that they needed.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then I brought them back to about 28 on a Saturday, and tasting room tastings, relationships with tour drivers and everything, and then and then from there I just had an opportunity. Life gives you, you know, a different sign, and so I'm where I'm at right now, which is fantastic.
That's awesome.
So the managerial role of you talk about rebuilding, like so when you go down to 5,
right,
from this giant staff,
right,
and then you have to basically rebuild because you're still busy. Like from what I understand, because I wasn't living in Fredericksburg at the time, but what I can understand is it's like they were done 2 weeks, people were not coming,
right,
but then after that it was like the floodgates were open.
So it was weird. So as a city, Fredericksburg was let's say didn't have to wear a mask at the time, and so but our owner, Dr. Becker, he was a little as far as the masks and the 6-foot mandate
distance,
and the distance and everything. So for me, there were some great people that have been there for a long time as far as relationships, and again, to the relationship industry, and I got to know a lot of people. And most of the people that are in this industry, it's not their full-time gig per se. So that's what you kind of need at the time as far as part-time. So we kept all the names, the numbers, contacts, and just started going down the Rolodex.
So you had to organize, as the manager, you're having to organize, you know, bringing people back, getting people, you know, and all that.
Absolutely. So what I had to do was start off with the tasting room, the roles, the style, because the new GM didn't know how it operated before, how it looked. He came back from California, which is totally different. It can be a buzzword in this town as far as that goes.
Yeah,
you meet some great people that are from California, but they'll be like, you know, with a whisper, we're not like those guys.
Yeah.
And so it's like almost a cuss word, right?
Yeah.
And so, but when I had to hire the people and I had a great team within me that were about 5 people. We had the wine club manager, we had the PR, assistant wine club manager, we also had some other guys that were with me that have been there forever. And then we just started building up the team, started hiring people, coming in and training. What helped for me was going from a 32 wine list, let's say, okay, we have 10.
Yeah.
So that way we can know we can facilitate, we'll rotate that so you're not daunting and scaring people. And also we slowly had the tour companies come back. So we had the people, we had it trained, and we kind of went through the process slowly. And I was very cautious not to let the floodgates, because you would lose everybody. But also, when you have all of a sudden 30 people, 25, 50 people, and your staff doesn't know how to do that all of a sudden, or accommodate that, or have
freak out, man.
you know, and they freak out, and that's not a good experience for either parties.
Yeah.
So, well, that took maybe about good 6 months to get the staff where we're at. I mean, I had, you know, people that worked every weekend, people that worked once a month, twice a month.
Damn.
I mean, anybody. So if you're willing to learn, like I did, you're willing to do that, and you know, and my thing was, if you don't like to, it's so fun. I had a young lady come in, and she wanted a job, and so I do an interview process as we go through, and it's different things, right? So certain keywords, and she wasn't responding very much. Like, so what would you like to do? How's your day? It was good. All right. So finally I was like, do you like talking to people? No.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Bye.
I'm like, okay, well, I mean,
That's not gonna work.
you know, what do you like to do? She's like, I like to be in the background. And so we needed bussers of tables. And so I was like, all right, well, let's put them in a position to where we can do that, you know. Now, once it started coming out, we also had to be creative as far as what we could do. As far as you tap a resource around here, most people that, if you don't know, Fredericksburg that live here do not need to work. This is their second vacation home, you know, and that's awesome. That's an incredible opportunity.
Or they're on a forever vacation.
Or they're on a and that's another goal, right? I mean, I've met people. Oh, we got back from a 6-month cruise. I'm like,
nice.
I did not know that's such a thing. One of those. And so what I started to do, and we had some younger, family members, or also they had, let's say, another young lady that had kids that were around 17 years old. We could work with them, and so we had support staff. So that way we could have, our servers could focus, they could replenish wine, they could clean up all the trash, they could do all the closing duties, things like that, pay them a wage, things that they could do without serving the wine till you're 18 years old. So to build an infrastructure, that was one of my first things to kind of implement.
That's
and
badass.
so what was super fun too, and I'm really proud of this, was even from the kids from the high school, this is their first job. So obviously, instead of just, you know what, we're going to give you a job, let's teach you how to do a resume. I mean, in principle,
that's cool.
I'll interview you, we'll go see the GM, we'll sit down, you know, because it's really good, you know, and also it's a proper interview.
Right. Teaching them a skill.
Absolutely. And I ask them for a form of resume, and they're like, what's that? Okay, let's go look it up. Well, I don't do anything. Well, write down what would work. Okay, are you volunteering anywhere? What do you like to do? Your activities. Tell me about yourself so I can look at that, right?
Right.
And so that was something I was very proud of, and I was giving a lot of kids at the time, young teenagers and adults, their first jobs.
Yeah, and the right tools to succeed later in life. Yeah,
absolutely.
And a lot of people do that. They're just like, that's not enough. And off to the next place that probably won't do that as well.
Exactly. So that time is okay. If I'm going to give you here, and we've had a lot of people go on to different wineries, you know, or different things. You know, my son included started here, and he's at an Italian restaurant, winery as well that does that. And so, but him going through the process, how to look people in the eye, how to talk to people, those type of interpersonal skills, which today, in this day and age, is not.
It's very hard to find, man. It's so difficult with the screens and the technology, and it's just like, you know, there's this crazy show on HBO. It's called White Lotus. I don't know if y'all have seen it or not. It's kind of trending.
It's all like the last part of wine, which is really good.
But it's funny because like there's this character. It's like this boy in the story, and like he's totally disconnected from the world, right? And he's just like so like involved, like in like his games and his screen, that he's in paradise and he just can't even enjoy it because like he's so like addicted to this thing, you know what I mean? So this generation is like it's different, you know, but like you can't at the same time, like you can't blame them all the way because like it's so accessible.
It's very accessible. It's a way of the culture, actually, because everybody has your cell phone, and you need that, especially in this, unfortunately, this day and age as well, with school shootings and things. But it's if you still need to get a job, and I understand you want to be a TikTok millionaire, which is great, but at the same
doesn't
time,
happen. It's like 1% of people.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I think it's harder than to become a rock star. I mean, this nowadays compared to that way, But with those things, we teach them. Sometimes they don't, they don't last. Whatever. One of the success stories. When you're a manager, you have to be willing to do everything, and like we was talking about before in the industry, but also more than just there to create money for your boss, the entity that you work for. And this is the way I look at it, as far as you want to build people up so they can go somewhere and be successful underneath your tutelage.
Yeah.
And also you want to build your own replacement if you can. That might be, which would happen to me basically. I built up my own replacement. It ran smoothly, and honestly, he was cheaper than I was. So that's kind of what happened.
Yeah.
But because we built this
he will
program,
never be the wine Viking.
That's right. He's not.
Yeah.
And not just that, but it sounds like you're the HR Viking, the logistics Viking.
It took three people to take my position, and they didn't work.
They ended up paying it more, and now they're gone.
And now they're gone. That's right. So there you go. There's your lesson. Keep her good people.
No shit.
And there was this one where it was a young. Becker Vineyards had what we call Lavender Fest, not what we call it. Lavender's huge event around the area. And we need a lot.
Leo knows it well.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, he does. We talked about that. Yeah. So there was this young gentleman that came in, and it wasn't Asperger's. I think it was on the spectrum a little bit.
Yeah.
But we needed people to work, and I had one of his mother's best friends. She worked with me at the time, who later became incredible. She is incredible. Shout out to Carrie. She runs Fredericksburg Inn and Suites now. But she came up and said, "Would you mind if this young boy could come in? He doesn't do loud noises or crowds, but he'll do whatever you want."
Yeah.
So coming in for these events, we needed people to do whatever. So did the same thing as far as starting out the resume, the interview process, going through the GM. That was his first job. He was like 18 years old, to get confidence. And it really meant a lot. And then after that, we also, that same Lavender Fest, the youth group was doing lemonade, and his mom ran me down and said, "I just want to thank you so much for hiring my son, because not a lot of people would. You've given him so much confidence, so much. Life is challenging, but he's working through those things." And to me, that's of course part of it.
Dude, I have I won't go into the whole details, but I have a very similar experience with somebody that was kind of on the spectrum, who I hired, and just kind of, and same thing with the mom, and it's rewarding, man.
Mm-hmm.
It really is, because it's like, this person may not have had another opportunity or doorway into just finding some confidence. Mm-hmm. And when you give them a job, and you give them a little bit of an opportunity, and then they start to put some money in their pockets, and it's just like, it's amazing what can come from that.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, and that's just one part of, for me, where I learned. It kind of comes from, my background in management and industry. But so that was great. But as far as the relationships with people, and you meet them all the time, and nowadays, with the amount of wineries that we have, it's important. A lot of people just don't have like wine clubs or anything like that. But also you have then they have the dark side of places when you have 700 people, pickup parties or anything. And
oh, here we go. We got some more. Sorry, we got more cocktails coming in. They are
fantastic as it is.
I needed to get their attention, so I was like, "Look at me!
Amazing.
Look at me!"
We have the best bartenders in town.
Totally, man.
7862 Boulevard.
Yes, I do. Cheers.
Let me say that one more time.
I don't know what. Hey, Aaron, what do we get? I don't want to scream into the microphone, but I don't know. Let's see. Hey, Aaron!
The bartender special.
What did you make?
Here.
What? Naked and famous. Naked and famous.
Naked and famous.
Okay.
Well, cheers
Cheers
again.
to
Cheers
Naked and
again.
Famous.
Yeah, us.
Great
That's how we're
time.
doing a podcast
I've heard of
right
Dazed
now.
and Confused. There we go. That's right.
I know. Salud, guys. I'm gonna try it.
Salute. Or I should say skull.
I was got some mezcal.
Yep. Woo. Yeah.
that's nice.
That is a sipper for sure. That is amazing.
For sure. They know us. They know we're sippers.
Oh wow, you get that smoky on that stuff.
Isn't that nice?
It's still tangy and
Oh, yeah.
makes your mouth a little pucker.
You can tell. I mean, I think from our first episode where Carlos was talking about all the juices that they make in house.
Yep.
You really can taste the difference.
Yeah, and delay. Yeah, totally. That's not bitter.
You know?
We're talking about a local place that opened up and how bitter and
Oh, I know.
the water. It's weird, man. I'm not even going to mention it. I don't know. But it was like, I mean, you get used to a certain quality.
Right.
Just like you get used to certain people
That's
treating
right.
you a certain way. That's
right.
why you go where you go.
That's right.
right.
You know, and the level's got to be. It's to be. I mean, if I want something fast, delicious, I'll go to McDonald's, hot and spicy chicken.
There you go.
I'm not craving
I'll get
for
down
kid.
on that, dude.
Dude,
Yeah,
I might
yeah.
do this after this.
There you go.
You know, but it's
Or
like
McGangbang.
yeah, a chicken McGangbang. Yeah, dude, that's you get the double meat cheeseburger and get 2 hot spicy chickens and
Oh
you
my,
smash them in
oh my god.
Instead of the
That's
bread.
yeah, that's chicken
That's like,
McGangbang.
oh my gosh.
I want to have that.
It sounds amazing. For like $10, less than
Yeah,
that.
dude.
so.
Hell yeah. So anyways, yeah. God damn, I'm getting that now.
I know now it's like,
Let's all go to McDonald's afterwards.
is it possible to have your mouth water from McDonald's? I don't know, but mine
the chicken McGangbang could do that.
Dude, we need to put a little grill back here
Oh,
because
yeah.
I thought we were going to the home studio today,
Yeah,
and I
know.
marinated some Wagyu fajitas.
Oh, yeah. Well,
so
I mean, I'll be working.
we'll have
I'm
to
gonna
we'll have to
time.
do that next time.
All
you
right,
go.
that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, yeah.
So that's, I mean, it's a fun journey that I've been on. I'm very lucky to have great mentors. I think you're only as successful as your mentors. Really,
That's true,
really take
man.
that time, and
Yes.
you really can't be afraid to ask questions. You can't be afraid to learn, no matter what age you are, and being like you don't know everything, and being willing to go in new and afresh. It takes some, but also the energy to say yes. I'll take you underneath your ring. I see your potential. I'll take your weaknesses and create them your strengths.
Yep.
I'll take your insincerity, whatever it is that you may be insecure about, and then we're going to go out. It's also about hospitality. Is you got to meet strangers and
Yeah.
quickly be, how's it going? Now we're best friends.
yeah,
in
yeah,
30 minutes,
relatable. Yeah.
Yeah, totally, man.
You know, mentorship is not something that they teach. When you're going up through high school or you're
Right.
going up through the school system. But it's definitely something that you learn kind of when you go on with life, and you're like, dude, without a mentor, especially as a man, you
Right.
know what I mean? I think
Right.
women are wired a little bit differently.
Right.
They can.
Call their friends.
Yeah,
talk about
they
shit,
talk about their
and-
vaginas.
Yeah,
you know,
dude,
that's
and
what they do. That's what
Oh my
God,
God, you smell this?
or their
That's guys don't
cycle.
talk about shit like that, dude. You got this itch right here, dude.
Well, there's some gasoline. Put on that on it, right?
But going back to the Viking kind of mentality, it's
Right.
those dudes probably it was like the older Viking taught the younger Viking how to
Fuck yeah.
kill and do the
Hunter-gatherer
thing.
for
Yeah,
sure.
hunter gather. You know what I mean?
And
So,
then they put them out and just say, okay, I've taught you. Now it's your time.
Yeah.
Prove yourself.
Yeah.
prove yourself.
And that's exactly, I think,
Those
what
Mexicans do the
hospitality-
same shit, man.
Yeah.
It's
That's it.
how do you think our traits. I mean, how do you think we pass on that?
This is how you build it.
That's
Now
like,
go do it.
Now go do it.
Yeah.
That's right.
You
Certain
watch
amount-
me, you do it now.
That's right. That's
do
right.
it.
That's that's what I feel like. What I kind of did with growing up, and going back to the trial by fire, but also I think within hospitality or even the service industry, there's only so much. Just, okay, kid, go out there, see how you're gonna do.
If you suck, it's not my fault.
right. It's late nights. I mean, it's just different mentality, different thing, But at the same time, it's either part of your DNA, which is very interesting to me, where people that stick it out, they've been in it for a long time. That's who they are. I didn't understand this until my wife. My wife told me this, and I was like, I don't know, but it's putting on the face.
Yeah,
putting
yeah.
on the smile, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's disingenuous, but also coming from industry where you not have to greet everybody with a smile, right?
Yeah.
But then you are greeting people with your best foot forward. How's your day? Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
My car just blew up last minute. Whatever. It's on fire. You can't go into that. They're not there for that. They're there to leave your, leave their stuff away and to create an atmosphere of, I want to come back, and so that's part of it.
Yep. Agreed.
And it's really. It's fun to see in relationships as far as even wine club members or your locals, right? And that's part of who you are. And customer service we were talking about before in this industry. I mean, even with chefs and the quality and the passion just coming from that one bite where it like buckles your knees. You're like, this is not hyperbole. It is. I've had it before. And it's amazing, right?
For sure.
For sure. And the gratitude you see people, all the heart that you've worked, it's a lot. What I do as far as the front of the house management and things. One of my sons, both proud of both of them, but he's Malik, is going to become a winemaker, and he was in the back in the production crew. I'm going to say something else, but and you go there at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's hard work, and it's really when you're in front of people, it's that 10% of all the hard work. But when they enjoy it, when they see, this is the best wine I've tried before.
Heck yeah,
I've been out to some other places that not so much, but everything that's awesome. That's passion, and that's part of the industry at which.
Yeah,
because there's so many around here. I mean,
for sure.
You could have good grist. The same before you were talking about.
It could be the best wine, but
that's right.
If you don't have the rest of it, I mean, I'll go wherever I get all of it.
That's right. That's right. So how do you bridge from Becker to Airis'Ele?
Gotcha.
Where you're at now?
So when it was a transition. When I ended up, I was training up my assistant taster and manager, and that transition came where he took over and all that stuff. So I was at that moment. Did I really want to be in the service industry again? Did I really want to be a manager? Because when you go in there, you give, for me, at least good managers, people can come to you because you're not just managing, but you're everything, right?
Right.
And especially with 28 people at one point in time, did I really want to be vulnerable, like we were talking about before, as mentorship. So I was just trying to go around, and I was very lucky to have a lot of opportunities to interview with different places around town. And less than 12 hours, I got a phone call. It was more of a text from Brett. Said, "Hey, come over and let's have sit down, have a glass of wine." And so I sat down with him, and I've known him for a long time, and his wife, Chris. And they are very down to earth people, hardworking, salt of the earth, always doing something.
Right.
And so they're cleaning glasses, their owners. They're whatever it takes. Exactly. And I really had a talk with, just kind of interview, and went with somewhere. I knew the owners. That wasn't going to have to be somebody coming on a whim, right? You want to have the job securities, basically. And luckily, I ended up making I made the right decision. I worked. I said, hey, you know what? Come work the weekend. There's nothing, just work, do your thing. We'll talk about it later. I told them I had some interviews to go on. Go on the interviews. Go check it out. We just want to make sure you are okay. And that would mean a lot to me. When people reach out and just say, hey, here's $5-10. Make sure your bills are met.
Yeah.
Because in the industry, it's not very much.
No one does that, dude. I mean, really.
No.
When you find the right person that cares about you because they know you and they want to, to make sure that you're taken care of.
Yeah.
But they know that you're capable of doing it and trust you. I mean, that goes a long way. Just knowing that that people trust the quality of work and the shit that you're capable of. I mean, God, I mean, shit.
And it's very much one of those things where it's affirming. You're like, okay, people see value in what I do. You know what I mean? And there's nothing more valuable than that.
And that is 100% correct. Where you, and as I'm not a workaholic or anything, but I take pride in what I do. When you find your identity and also your professionalism, and you get used to putting out a good product or having that validation for who you are based upon what you perform. And we're a performance, but at the same time, it's when you lose that, it's obviously your confidence is shaken. Well, what did I do wrong? Could I did something different? I mean, it was just like snap of the fingers and okay, we're done. And like, well, what about all this I did? So, and exactly right. When they sat me down and said, I see it in you, whatever you want to do. And then after talking with going on some interviews, different opportunities, great places as well. But I felt we're going from 28 people in charge of it. There's like 4,
Yeah,
going from the huge dog to the small. But we're getting there. They've been open for 3.5 years, different awesome opportunities. But it's also about the people, and they see that people walk in now. As far as the service industry, and mentioning that you want to go where somebody is serviced correctly and that relationship. Well, we did have a number of wine club members ask where I was, ask where I'm at, and then ended up following me and then joining because I was there.
Yeah.
That's not to my own horn, but it's also, maybe it is. That's true. No, it definitely is.
It's okay though. It's okay because like you gain the trust,
right,
and you gain the.
And it wasn't all about the product, brother. It was,
product,
really,
right.
yeah, it's about the person taking care of you. You knew that
it's
they're
like
not gonna fuck you
50-50,
over.
right?
Right.
Yep.
It's like you're not going to put your name behind something.
That's right.
Your persona, the wine Viking. You're not going to put it behind something that you don't believe in.
That's right. And you can go different places. I think, and people that are educated, they see that, they taste the product, but also they're there for a good conversation. Thank you so much. And then they're like, well, what do you like? What would you recommend? And they will go there.
Yeah.
And they will, okay, well, what do you know this guy or what restaurant? Because they like you, and then it's all reciprocal based upon that first impression, and then and that's part of it. But that's kind of where I landed up, and I'm very grateful for that. And now that my other son, Bo, he is also a sophomore going through...
Bo's a sophomore.
Bo the sophomore. A tall Bo. So your daughter...
My daughter said that.
We were out the other day, we were talking about going somewhere and supporting local, and we asked her, do you know Bo? And she goes, oh yeah, tall Bo. And so he is tall. Like he is taller than I am, works out every night and everything. But... and proud of him, proud of what he's doing. But I had the opportunity to go on band trips. They went to state last year.
That's badass.
It was so awesome. I couldn't have done that in the opportunity. God works mysterious ways, as they say. We don't see everything. We don't understand it. But if you work hard and you're faithful with somebody else's, you'll be ruler over somebody. Your own stuff.
I love that. I love that.
When you're faithful. In
the little things.
That's right. That's right. Man. And so they see that. And I totally... And that's why I kind of live my life. My dad is an incredible man. He, love him to death. And he's always a hard worker. He was 100% will always work hard, no matter what he's doing. And so it instilled that legacy in me.
Yeah.
And shout out, Dad. No, he's a Florida. living the dream. So that's right.
But Bo's a sophomore.
Yeah, Bo's a sophomore. So... he's a big guy, love him, but also he's a hard worker.
Yep.
And he works at Andreucci, which is another one in town. Yeah. But he started where I was at, didn't know anything, but now, he's making pasta.
Yeah, it's
he doesn't make it for us. But it's so awesome to see that based upon, because people are watching.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, man.
And tasting and
everything, and how you do things, how you treat people, and... So,
he's gonna go far, brother. I know. He's a great kid. I've met him, a few times at HEB.
It's our favorite spot.
Yeah, and Jessica's like, dude, and I would love. I wish I could just take him with me, man, and use him sometimes, because I'm, we're always needing help, man.
Oh, dude, yeah. I called you last week. You graciously gave,
2 weeks before your daughter bailed me out too.
I know, and then your daughter bailed me out, so it was like totally reciprocal.
Call your son, man. We're gonna have to.
They do. I mean, he knows what he's doing, serving and stuff like that. But it's one of those, especially when in a small town community that we are, and it's awesome. We're very welcoming of people.
Yeah.
But at least I am now, because I came in here for 8 years.
Yeah. So it's like a big now we're all a big family of hospitality, brother. So where do you see yourself like in the next 5, 10 years, brother? I mean, do you think you're still gonna be? I mean, I see you. in the hospitality business. I don't know if you're still going to be working for someone else or doing your own thing, because I feel like you have enough knowledge from what I'm hearing from like how you handle the kids that come in, the training. I mean, I've seen and I've known you done some consulting, but consulting is hard work. But I mean, at the same time, it's like very rewarding if somebody can, pull off the shit that you're telling them.
Right,
and you have the persona.
And
it's true.
You
have the tag.
Because a lot of people get intimidated. Like when you come in and say, "Okay, I'm going to help you with consulting," no one likes change, especially from somebody that's coming in from the outside that doesn't work with you. Because the first thing they're going to think is like, "We're changing everything up." They don't want to. It's like, "Fuck, we're so used to it." But there's a reason why they're they hire consultants. But I mean, do you see yourself doing something else in the next 5-10 years, or you think, because I mean, it's easy to get comfortable, it's easy to do, but if you love what you do, there's no reason to do anything else. I mean, if you're comfortable and if you love what you do, keep doing what you're doing. Right? So
no, I mean, it's a great question. I definitely number one is education in wine. It is crazy. I mean, there's so much. There's Texas wine. I mean, you can go down a list. There's so much more. And then consulting is great. So the consulting was just by word of mouth. Like, hey, I'll help you out.
Yeah,
and that was one of the things where it wasn't just which I never looked for it, but somebody that I knew and that we became friends with and asked my opinion, and then all of a sudden there I am doing that. And so that's I think it's good to pursue, to diversify. Absolutely, not to put all my eggs in one basket, but
totally,
to see where Airis'Ele goes, and they're going through some big changes and opportunities, and really being a part of them.
Great people. I mean,
great people.
I went down there and talked to the owner, and we were just hanging out. It's like this. It's like talking to this guy. It's like so easy just to chill. And have a great conversation.
That's cool. That's cool. I need to make it down there. I need to take my wife on a really. We need a date like so bad.
Yes. Come.
You know what I mean? And I need to go. Are you open on Thursdays?
We're open 7 days a week.
Okay.
7 days a week. Yes, we're open, and that's quite something for here. And I think that's one thing. Taking the time, we work in it, but also we don't always enjoy this lovely city that we live in.
Yeah, it's true, man. So true.
But so that's kind of where I see myself. I would love to venture out, have both, still help those guys out because they've helped me out, but also as I'm learning and people need anything as far as tour, training, hospitality, managing, things like that, mentoring.
I mean, you like what I see is like you're just like a quick 30-second, 45-second video. It's just breaking stuff down, it's just like fast. You're in the Viking attire. You don't have to leave your job or anything. You know what I mean? It doesn't even take that much time.
That's right.
It doesn't even take that much time. And then next thing you know, you have a second stream of revenue.
Yeah, dude.
You know
Viking,
what I mean?
Online Viking.
The Vine Viking, Wine Viking, especially after the Naked and Famous. We're drinking Naked and Famous right now. Now we're all slurring.
I know, right.
The mezcal.
I finished mine, dude. Y'all still like half of it.
These are not big glasses either. They're not like pints or anything. They're not. They're little like dainty finger, pinky finger stuff.
But it's fucking good.
Which is great.
There's no reason to.
But yeah, I mean that's definitely, I think, an opportunity for sure in doing that, and I want to go overseas, of course, the experience in Italy and all that stuff.
Dude.
I mean, the appreciation for the wine.
Have you ever been?
I have not.
Oh, dude, you're going to shit yourself.
Oh, my God. And I've been to Hong Kong.
I'm with you, man. I've never been.
That's totally different.
Yeah. I know, it is different.
Yeah, more modern. I mean, you can do like old Hong Kong, I'm sure, but
it's not wine. It's not the industry.
But you go to Florence, the Renaissance, go have the wine in Chianti, and it's like mind blowing, dude. You're sitting there with the heart on, drinking your wine. Shit,
I mean, it's amazing. It'd be like, they have their my toilet paper is older than America, whatever. That's the thing. But to think about the building they're in is over 100 years old, and
it's crazy.
It was crazy.
You'll love it. Well, dude, I mean, thanks for coming, dude. I think it's time for some chicken McBang gangbang.
Right,
chicken McGangbang.
Yeah, McGangbang for sure.
Yeah. And of course, we hang out all the time.
Well, I'm so glad that we got to redo this. I feel like this was we had a great conversation, and I'm not just saying this, but I really think that this episode. It has so much depth to it because of who you are and kind of your story, and I'm just so proud that we're here at the 78624 And then I have my best friend, Chef Leo, over here.
Yeah, man.
And my new best friend
Absolutely.
over here,
Absolutely.
the Wine
The
Viking.
crush on you, puppy.
Oh, man, it's good. Love it. It's an honor to be here.
It might be the
Fun.
Naked and Famous.
It might be. It
Yeah,
might be.
but,
It's good. No, it's
but
the
it's truth.
people, man.
It's
It's
truth.
just, you know, when things are just this easy, you
Right.
know, it's like, it was meant to be. It's meant to be. You know,
It's
the
meant to be,
friendships and
for sure,
relationships
for sure.
are just like. So, dude, thanks for coming, man.
It's my honor.
I'm
Yeah,
glad
dude.
you were here, man.
So kind of tell us real quick. So you're at Airis'Ele.
Airis'Ele Vineyards, yes.
And tell us a little bit about hours, like how
Right.
people can find.
And where
you
they
know.
can find you. They want to just reach out and say,
Oh,
hey, dude,
sure.
you know, I like what you said. I'd love for you to help me out.
Yeah, absolutely. Start off Airis'Ele Vineyards. We're open 7 days a week, Monday through Thursday, 10 to 5, and then we have Friday and Saturday till 6 and Sunday till 6 p.m.
Yeah.
They come and do
Yeah.
special events, things like that. They got some great big things coming.
What days are you not there?
I am not there Monday and Tuesdays.
All right. So just in case somebody
yeah.
wants to like go out there. And
Yeah,
see
you can reach me. I mean, at my email is Airis'Ele. Tyler at Airis'Ele.com. That's TYLER @AIRISELE.com. You can reach me there. Of course, I don't even know my Facebook. Whatever, I'm on Facebook. Tyler Long. Whatever
Tyler
you want
Long.
to hit me up. You know.
Instagram, so you never check
Instagram.
it.
I don't never check it.
You need to check it. I send you messages. I send you memes all the time, dude. You never fucking look at that shit, dude.
I'm like,
Come
oh,
on.
okay, I don't even know. I know. I'm horrible about that, but I'll definitely respond. You can have also my working email as far as personal is TYLONG number 2 @gmail.com. So if you have any questions, you have anything, you want to reach out, I definitely want to talk and kind of go from there. So
Yeah, awesome,
no worries.
dude. What
Hell
about
yeah,
you, man? My brother?
Well, I'm at the Dining Dude on Instagram, diningdude.com. On you can just Google me or whatever, and yeah, that's it.
Dude,
really.
I saw. When was it? Friday. I cooked for a group of girls. They were doing a girls trip, and they were from all over the country. But the person that booked me was from College Station. She goes,
yeah.
We talked, and so hey, by the way, I'm taking pictures. I'm posting on my social media. If you want to, follow me at Chef Leo or Eat Fredericksburg, Texas, you can follow the stories and add. And we also have a podcast, and I talk about everything that we do. And he goes, "Oh my God, the Dining Dude, this guy, I would pick up some food from him when he was in College Station and." I haven't done it. I go, he still goes to College Station like once or twice a month. It's like, you want to place an order, get on there. And it's like, yeah, it was awesome. We did this. And so they know you in College Station. And so it's like, that is badass. That's like the biggest form of compliment. Whenever you cook somewhere and someone knows you from somewhere else or, if you're
For
local.
sure.
And it's just like, yep, hit them up and listen to the podcast. And so, I'd love to get a hold of you, but it's like if you want to reach out to us through the podcast, it's Confession of the Private Chef. I'll be Private Chef on any platform that you actually listen to your music on.
For sure.
And of course on Instagram, it's the same thing, Confession of a Private Chef. And
you can listen to the podcast anywhere, Spotify, Instagram, Apple,
Amazon,
any of those places.
Whatever, yeah. There's iHeartRadio.
It's all in the ether. So
For sure.
yeah, anywhere you can find podcasts.
So leave us a comment. If you hate something, leave us a comment. It's funny. My
Doesn't matter.
My cousin Happy Cantu. Happy Cantu is not so very happy all the time. Somebody named him Happy. We should have named her Grumpy. I love you, Happy. I love you. You're gonna be listening to this shit. I'm like, it's the truth. Still love you. But he was like, dude, I heard your last episode. I loved it. I listened to everything, but it was kind of hard to hear because the music in the background was a little too loud. It's like, fuck you, Happy. No, I didn't say that. But it was like, I did it for a reason. And, the water, the pissing sound in the background, that's why I did it. But I love people that gives us honest feedback.
Right.
Because from
It's
that,
true, man.
because if that was in the case, chances are not because the hard drive was fucked up. I'm sure I could have my phone fell down. I could have probably backed it up or found it on my old Mac, but this is a lot more. This was better.
Yeah, for sure.
So it was one of those things that getting feedback from even him was like, eye-opening. It's like, okay, well, if I don't have to, if I can do it better, let's just fucking do it better, right?
Yeah, that's
so
true.
Thank you, Happy.
That's true, man.
It was way better.
That's true.
But if you want to find me, you can find me under Chef Leo Aguirre, Aguirre. Just type it out. I've had a customer Sunday morning. She was like typing it out weird. It's like, dude, just type out my name that you would type it out, and so it's like, find it. Or eat Fredericksburg, Texas.
EatFBG.com.
EatFBGTX. Yeah, eat Fredericksburg, Texas.
That's right.
We do have a Fredericksburg in Virginia.
Oh, so, that's right.
I mean,
that's right.
We're way cooler than the people. Not people, but just Fredericksburg, Virginia in general, man. There's a lot of history up there. But, you know.
They do have some wine.
They do have some wine, but we have a lot more.
That's right.
So we win.
We're better because we're
win.
Texas.
Yes, that's right. Heck yeah, dude. So, anyways, eatfredericksburgtexas.com, EatFBGTX, or ChefLeoAguirre.com. Leave us a message, send us a DM if you think you want to be on because you have something you want to say about the industry, you know. Yeah, do that. You'll hear
anything.
Just
or anything drop us.
Just
and
it doesn't matter. You don't have to be from Texas. We have friends in California, which we love. We have fans from all over the world that are listening right now. So please, I mean, it doesn't matter. If we don't understand you, we'll try. I mean, our buddy Henry, Goodkin, man. I mean, he's German chef here. Dude, I love you, Henry. Sometimes it's hard to understand Henry, but bro, I mean, the guy's a badass at what he does.
For sure.
So, I mean, as long as you're a badass, reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
And brother Tyler, bro, I love you, man.
Thanks
you,
Tyler.
for everything.
Too. Love you guys.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, dude, your wife. Thanks for sharing your husband with us tonight. It was great.
You have a heart of gold, man. Thank you.
For sure,
My
brother.
pleasure, guys.
Good, bro. Well, dude. Great hanging out again.
What a pleasure, man.
Dude, and
always
of course,
love it.
78624 The Bar, 200 block, the Golden Block on Main Street.
Yep.
We're right across from Vaudeville, which is a great place to go eat, guys. If you want to go and have lunch or dinner and then come over to the bar and have a cocktail afterwards or before. Carlos is a mixologist here, along with Aaron. And they are badass mixologists, some of the best in the Texas Hill Country, if not the best. I know Carlos is rated #1 in the Texas Hill Country for making these cocktails. And if there's something on the menu you don't like, he will curate something for you.
Hell yeah.
And you can find him on Instagram as well.
We all like curation.
Yeah, for sure. 78624 The Bar. And dude, or the website as well. And no reservations, just walk in. Open Mondays, and then Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. They close a little bit earlier Sunday, and they close earlier, I think like 9:30 every night, because we want to cater to that non-drunk crazy.
It's really classy. It's classy. It's upscale. It's not, it's not a dive bar. It's not, it's a place where you want to come and enjoy a beautiful beverage with a beautiful person.
Totally, in a beautiful
space.
Yeah, totally, guys. So, but anyways, Tyler, again, thanks for coming, brother.
Thank you guys.
And if you mention the podcast table or just Confessions of Private Chef podcast, whenever you come in, tell them, hey, I heard y'all offer a discount for anybody that listens and follows. And they will give you, I believe, what was it, 15% discount?
15%. Yeah,
discount on that. So hey, man,
it's nice.
That's like you're saving yourself on the tip. Kind of.
Yeah, for
even
sure.
Though you're supposed to be 20. Tip 20%.
It's like 15% of the tip.
Yeah,
right?
totally. Yeah, exactly. That's what I wanted to say, bro. But all right, guys. Well, thanks again, dude. It was great. Hanging out with you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chef.
Thank you, guys.
Tyler.
Thank you very much.
All right.
See you next time.
Later, guys. Bye.